Hello, this is Elena with Black Sheep 303 Creative, and today I'm sharing another Christmas ornament idea. I'm calling it the Super Easy Santa Ornament. This is an ornament idea that I learned in a class I took at Archivers about 4 years ago. Archivers was a really great scrapbooking chain in the US that closed all of its retail locations, shortly after I took this class. They do still have an online presence, but I have never seen this ornament since, so I wanted to share it today. So what you'll need is a paper trimmer, a 3-inch glass or plastic ornament, and you will remove the top almost immediately. We'll put it back on at the very end. Then you'll need a piece of paper that is 6 inches by 12 inches, and double-sided is a really good idea. It doesn't have to be, but it's fun if you do it that way. Then you'll need some ribbon, and I've got glitter ribbon there. And then you'll need like a scrap of silver or gold paper of some kind to make Santa's belt buckle. And then you will need a pencil. And am using that waffle flower Santa tag die to make my little belt buckle, but there are other options that I'll talk about when we get to that point. Now the first thing we're going to do is trim down this piece of paper into long strips. So you're going to be cutting along the shorter 6-inch side and cutting them a 1/4 inch wide. So they're going to be a 1/4 inch by 12 inches long. And I'm just using my paper trimmer and lining it up against the 1/4 inch mark and then cutting them down. And you cut down the entire piece of paper. And in the end, you will wind up with 24 pieces of paper, long strips. So now you're going to need your ornament and your pencil. And what to do is take each strip and we're going to roll it around the pencil. Now, if you have double-sided paper, you want to roll the side to the outside that you want to see more of. So I want to see more red, so I'm going to roll that on the outside with the plaid on the inside. You will see a little bit of that plaid in the end, but not a whole lot. But it is a little bit fun, and so that's why I kind of encourage you to do a double-sided pattern paper. It's kind of fun. This is a somewhat heavyweight paper. It's probably 60 or 65 pounds. So it's a little bit harder to roll. It does work. And then I did another version of this that you'll see later where I used just paper, like scrapbook paper. And that was even easier to roll. And so if you're worried about, like difficulty rolling, I would say go with a lighter weight paper. So long story short, you're just going to roll all of these strips of paper into sort of long tubes along your pencil. And then when you finish up with rolling one, you're going to stick the pencil into the neck of the bottle and then push the paper off the pencil into the inside of the ornament. And the paper will kind of open up and expand a little bit, and that's totally normal. That's what you want. And it does get pretty full. So you can see there, I've got, 21 of them in there, and I'm on my last 3. So I'm going to show you how this is a little bit tricky. So when I get to this point, I stick as much of the roll of paper into the neck as I can, and then I will use the pencil eraser to kind of push the rest of it down into the ornament. And you can also kind of stick the eraser end in and kind of rearrange the paper to a limited extent within the inside of the ornament. So kind of like I'm doing there. Like if you feel like there's some area that has like a hole or doesn't have enough in it, stick your pencil eraser in there and try to push some things into that area. So it's fairly forgiving. Now to make Santa's belt, I'm going to use this glitter ribbon, and I'm going to measure it around the ornament once I can get control of it, around the circumference, and then just trim it off so that it has like a real slight overlap, but not much of one, because you don't want too much bulk on it. Now to adhere this on, I am using a really heavy-duty double-sided tape. This is Elizabeth Craft Design 6mm tape. I think that double-sided tape is really the way to go for this, because you do need to be able to kind of pull this off and rearrange it as you're running it around the middle of that ornament. It's virtually impossible to get it perfectly in the middle the first time all the way around, or at least it is for me. So So I would suggest using some kind of adhesive that you have the ability to like pull it off and reposition it and put it back on when you need to. I think that wet adhesive like a glue might get too messy on the glass, and hot glue I don't think will allow you to reposition it. So just something to bear in mind when doing this part. You could also do this probably with a piece of paper would work. Washi tape may also work as well. It doesn't have to be glittery ribbon, but I thought that was really cute. Now I did cut my little belt buckle out with my Santa tag die that you see there, and I'm going to use multimedia matte adhesive to adhere this onto the ribbon, just because that ribbon has kind of a weird texture and isn't the easiest thing to glue things to. But if you don't have this die, I think you could very easily use like a square die or a square punch. So if you have like a 1-inch square die or punch, and then you have a 1/2 inch square die or punch, or something that fits inside that 1 inch to cut out a hole, that works just as well. So you could definitely use that instead. Now here I wanted to show you, I found this plastic one with the Santa belt already on it at Michael's. I put the paper in it, but that would be a fun alternative if you don't want your kids monkeying around with glass, for example. And then I made this one, which is my snowman version of this. And so I used white paper that had like a blue pattern on the back, and then I added some ornament flakes into it while I was putting the paper in. And those ornament flakes are kind of like, I don't know, like shredded plastic iridescent bits. I can't describe it any other way. And they do tend to kind of bunch up on the bottom, but then you can shake it kind of like a snow globe, and they will reposition themselves and kind of be a little bit around on the inside within the paper. It's kind of fun. So just look at the Santa one, and there's look at the snowman, and I did adhere those buttons with some really heavy duty glue dots, and I added a little embroidery floss on them as well. So those are really, really easy and really cute. And I think if you are looking for something fun to do with your kids, or maybe you need to make some like little gifts for people and you don't want to spend a lot of money, these would be great for like coworkers or teachers, all kinds of fun, or like even hostess gifts. So thank you so much for watching. I always appreciate it. As usual, there is a supply list linked in the video description below and on my blog. I'd be absolutely thrilled if you subscribe to my channel. Happy holidays!